Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Seconds. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Good day, Cavs fans, and welcome to another edition of the Block the Shot, the Stop, a Cleveland Cavaliers podcast. I'm Tim Daniel. He's Skylar Webker. Kevin Lynch is enjoying some family vacay time, well-deserved, so he's going to be not with us today. But Skylar and I are excited because we're going to dive into some potential names to be the final roster spot for the 2025-2026 Cleveland Cavaliers when they take the floor on opening night in October. So Skylar, you and I chatted a little bit about this earlier in the day, just kind of different names we could see. And I think we have some unique names that we think could fit the Cavs really well. So I'm pretty excited to dive into this. I don't know if any of these will happen. I would not be shocked if Tristan Thompson signs back and it's just like the last guy on the roster, full on mascot, Cavaliers mascot style, like him and Moondog and Sir CC just hanging out. It's just like his role next year.
To put some predicate on this, if the person that is not already on the Cavs system and roster for Naquan Tomlin or anything like that. So these are kind of our ifs. They go out and get somebody to fill that last spot, particularly a free agent that they could get on a vet minimum. There might be another trade out there surrounding Dean Wade, as we discussed last time, but these are if they go free agent, here's some tactical guys that they could get at the vet minimum, which is the only way they can get anybody because they're in the second apron.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to dive into that, but we're going to start the show, Skyler, with the most important Cavs news this week. I need your honest breakdown of Jared Allen and Dean Wade's dancing at Jared Allen's wedding this week.
I love it. I love seeing kind of the personal lives of these guys. I love that these guys are still tight-knit. Isaac Okoro was also in attendance at the wedding.
He was the one that he was still filming it. Yeah, that went viral.
Yes. Oh. Yeah, so it's cool that these guys are so tight-knit and more than just they're just not sick of each other. Like they hang out with each other 6 months of the year, and even outside of that, they have this camaraderie to include each other in weddings or vacation together or whatever it may be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also just kind of trying to figure out because Jared Allen's footwork in that dance number looked very impressive. And if we could see some of that this upcoming season, I'd greatly appreciate it. I think Cavs fans would as well. So I just thought we had to start there with a little fun. So I want to start with just like I said, you and I kind of came up with a couple names each. We'll probably talk about 3 or 4 guys here. And of course, we're recording this on Monday afternoon. So if these guys sign on Monday night before this goes up for our regular Tuesday off-season show, we know what happened. We know the news. We just did not report it in time. So just want to make sure we cover our aces there. Do you want to start with the guards? Do you want to start with the bigs?
Let's start with the guards.
Okay. So my first team I came up with, and I mentioned to you, is Seth Curry of the Charlotte Hornets. And we'll throw the caveat in, of course. He's a former one-game Cleveland Cavalier. Legitimately played one game for them in 2014, and has obviously been around, played for a lot of teams. If you look at just teams, it's actually played full seasons with Sacramento, Dallas, Portland, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Charlotte, most recently. And there's a couple things that are pluses here and a couple minuses. The minus, of course, being another small guard. The plus being an incredible shooter. Last year was the league leader in shooting percentage at 46% from 3, just under 46%. On just 2.7 attempts a game. Didn't play a lot. Charlotte will use a lot of their younger guys, of course. Also injury prone. So there's that problem as well, which the Cavs have a lot of as well. But as far as a basketball stylistic fit, he's kind of the guy that every team wants, right? Take him off screens, do dribble hands off, get him in space, hit open shots. He's certainly not Steph, obviously, as a shooter, but certainly has one. I mean, it's certainly an incredible 3-point shooter, career 44% shooter. So I think if the Cavs are just looking for a little bit more scoring and spacing off the bench, I think Seth Curry is a guy who could make some good amount of sense and probably wouldn't cost them a whole lot.
I mean, could you imagine that? You have Sam Merrill, Lonzo Ball, Seth Curry as kind of your spacing along the perimeter, like that'd be really tough to stop. On top of whoever you want to slot in at the 3-4 spot in that second unit, whether it be a Max Strus or DeAndre Hunter or whoever, like that's pretty potent as far as like, I don't think anybody would be able to I don't think anybody else's second unit would be able to stop that offensive firepower that you would get.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the minus as the Cavs are looking to kind of go more this route of having continuous two-way players is defense is not his thing, to put it nicely. So that's obviously going to be something that's going to jump out. But this is a guy who has played in the playoffs a lot. He's played with stars a lot. He's played with Durant. He's played with Harden. He's played with Embiid. He played with Ben Simmons when Ben Simmons knew how to play basketball. He played with a lot of really good. He's played with Luka. Like he's played with a lot of really good players in his career. So he knows how to kind of help guys out like a Mitchell, like a Mobley, and so on and so forth. But strictly as far as like if everyone just wanted to go the route of just have some extra scoring off the bench, I am all for bringing him in. I mean, just an awesome scorer, but obviously not going to go out there and drop like 37 for you. Though if he did, I don't think anyone would be shocked.
I was gonna say he could. He easily could. I love that additional piece that you mentioned with the leadership or the I don't want to say the camaraderie, but the just playing with all those stars and how much is rubbed off on him and how much he can rub off on or pass that information along to some of these other guys. I think that's hugely valuable. I mean, the last time that they kind of did something like that was, I would say, Kyle Korver, who could come off the bench, give you great shooting, has played with Allen Iverson and all these other greats and was able to really
played a couple
slot
finals,
into a second unit. Yeah, exactly. I think able to slot into that second unit, and I loved Kyle Korver when he was here. There's no secret to that.
Yeah, I always feel bad for him because people are always mad at him for missing that one shot in Game 3 of the 17 finals. But it was like, man, he was as wide open as it gets. Like he hits that shot, we have a deeper series, and I still don't think the Cats will win the series, but certainly have a more conversation about it. So I think Seth Curry is an interesting dynamic fit. I don't think he's got to cost him a whole lot. Of course, there's the rumblings going around right now that his brother is trying to bring him to Golden State so they can play together as they try to close out their careers, which honestly, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. It'd be cool to see. I'm sure their parents would love it. Del Curry would be super happy about that.
Do you think he would like quit his job with the Hornets so he could just go fly out there?
I would quit my job with the Hornets.
Yeah. Though I think the Hornets had a good offseason. I actually like what they did. I think like just kind of finally being like, look, we're not good, and let's just make something happen and just take on bad contracts and so on and so forth. I actually like what they did. So that'll be a conversation for another show, though. All right, you want to go with the next guard we discussed?
Yeah, one name that's kind of standing out to me is Malcolm Brogdon. I think is a great piece that could come off as some off the bench shooting. He does have a bird right with Washington, so we'll see how that
doesn't mean anything. It's Washington, so
right. That's what I'm saying. If it were a different team in a different kind of state, there's probably a little more pushback around it. But I don't know, just a sizable guard at 6'4". He gives you scoring. I mean, he's doing about 13 points average last season, and I think you're not getting him for the playmaking. You're getting him for the scoring, and I think he's able to score more than just a three-point shot. He's able to use the mid game a little bit, and I think that's something that the Cavs could use to exploit, because we see when the three-point shot isn't working, the offense sputters and hard to watch.
6 of his 9 years in the NBA, he's already played for Central Division teams, but it's 3 years with Indiana, 3 years with Milwaukee. Like you mentioned, so last year was his worst shooting year of his career by a long shot. Shot 29% from 3. He's a career 38% shooter, just under 39. And former rookie of the year has also won. Was he on the Milwaukee team? I think he was on the Milwaukee team that won the title. He was not, actually. That was his second year with the Pacers. But was a guy who was brought in to play with the Celtics because they wanted him to help out Brown and Tatum. That's kind of taking some pressure off them as a scorer. Like you said, combo guard with ball handling skills and also an ability to kind of knock shots down. Excellent free throw shooter. Other caveat, likes to get injured a little bit more than you'd like to see. But yeah, as far as like, I think this is a better fit than Curry if it were something that was possible.
Yeah, and it might not be possible. Like we said, the Cavs can only do a minimum deal since they're a second apron team. And it depends on, if Washington, because if the Cavs can get them on a minimum deal, Washington is going to match that.
Will they?
Well, they should, but I don't know if they will.
Yeah, I'm not counting anything out with the Wizards, good or bad, because I also think they've actually had a fairly decent offseason as well. And
I agree.
But same reasons for the Hornets. I like to see McCollum fit for them. Actually, I think he's gonna be really good there. He might shoot like 47 times a game, but I think he's gonna be fun there. Yeah, so I think both those names are guys that make some sense. Other additional guards that we could throw out there, see as a possibility. I could see something where maybe they try to kick the tires on maybe a BJ Boston is like an athletic guy. Maybe a Kendall Brown, just an athletic guy off the bench. I mentioned Alec Burks, see if he would be interested in coming back to Cleveland. I think his stint here, he was actually pretty decent. And then, I threw this out last year, but the idea, he's more of a wing. Torrey Craig. I don't know if you're looking for a guy that's going to get a lot of minutes per se from him, but he's a guy who's pretty likable, has had a pretty decent NBA career as a bench guy. Probably played more than he should have for the Bulls, but he's a guy I like a lot. And so I think those are a couple names that you could potentially see take that spot as well. Of course, like you said, with the caveat, they don't sign Naquan Tomlin to an NBA contract, which I have the vibes. It sounds like he's going to get a two-way.
Seems like it. I also like the Lonnie Walker. I think that's another sneaky good play in there. I definitely want, with the smaller guards that we have in Merrill, Garland, and Mitchell, I want somebody that can size up a little more. And I think a lot of the guys that we mentioned fit that role, but Lonnie Walker definitely fits that role. He's even listed as a guard/forward.
Shout out Real GM for their complexions there. All right, let's talk a couple bigs. I've mentioned two names particularly. I don't know if you had any in mind as well. So first name I want to talk about, and this is like just absolute perfect. It's not going to happen because the other teams are targeting him. But if it was a possibility, the Cavs could do it, I would do it in a heartbeat. And that's Al Horford.
Yeah.
Look, this is a guy who's done anything and everything in basketball. College champion, NBA champion, all-star, all-NBA. And he's been through it all. And he's a guy who people love. He's seen where he had to be benched in Oklahoma City because he was too good for what they were trying to do. He's seen where he went to Philadelphia and it was terrible that it didn't work out with him backing up Embiid. He's been part of that Hawks team that won a lot and went to a lot of all-star games. He is going to be 39 this upcoming season, but literally as far as what he brings to the table, playmaking big, screener, still really physical defender. Obviously, you can't play him. You're probably only playing him 60, 65 games. I think Al Horford would be absolutely perfect for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just think there's teams that are going to be able to offer him more than what the Cavs can offer.
And I think that's true. I think the latest rumblings are LA or maybe even a final run at Boston.
When he just fit the Clippers, like all those guys are like 90 in basketball years, just all playing together.
The LAARP Clippers.
Did you come up with that?
I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, I was gonna say that was really good. I didn't see that.
No, I agree. I think he's a guy that definitely helps you, especially as a stretch big. I think definitely helps you. I don't know how realistic it is, and I don't know how much the Cavs are focusing on a center with the addition of Larry Nance. I think they're probably looking more on a power forward or a wing forward. But I would love it. Like I would love it if they could get that done.
Well, that's who brings me to my next name, Chris Boucher, the Toronto Raptors. I've mentioned this in the pod before. I think he's a vet minimum guy. I think he's really good, honestly. Size has it. Defensibility has it. Physical has it. Young. I mean, he's been in the league for a little while. He has the ability to score. last year he had a 10-5 season for Toronto. He's a guy that, you can trust if he draws fouls, he gets to the free throw line, he shoots 78%. He needs to get there more. He only averages 2 free throw attempts a game. But this is a guy who's played a lot of different roles for the Raptors, and he's a guy who I think could be really good. And also, he's got an NBA title. So he knows what it's like to get there. He knows what it's like to be there. And I think as far as like that backup to Mobley, and even like you said, to Hunter and Strus, I think he'd be a perfect 3rd 3 and a solid 2nd 4 for this team.
Yeah, I think that's a great ad right there. Yeah, I'm just looking at what he did last season. If he can give you 10 points and where is he? 10 points and 6 assists
in 17 minutes.
Assists,
yeah,
like that's great. I'm all for that. I also love that he's 6'9". Yeah, I think that's a great ad. I think that would be one of the more underrated ads in the league, I would say. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that Toronto has full bird rights on them, so we'll see what they want to do.
I wish teams would just talk about what they want to do with their bird rights. Just let us know before we, for content purposes. Okay, like.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Bird rights, early bird rights, non-bird rights. It's like, gee, can it just be free agent or not?
Right. Yeah. The NBA makes everything so complex in the offseason. It's so stupid. We can go ahead and take Thomas Bryant off the list, by the way. It looks like he's going to go play in Greece. So
that was literally the name I was going to say next was Thomas Bryant. I loved how he played it in Indy. Well, that stinks.
My bad.
Yeah, let me find a new name, but I like it. I like the ad of Chris. I think it makes so much sense, honestly.
Yeah, he'd be awesome. He's a guy who would make a lot of sense for the Cavs. And you could pair him with Nance. You can pair him with Mobley. You can do a lineup where you have Mobley at the 5, and put one of those guys on the floor with Hunter. And yeah, there's a lot of different flexibility you could do there for sure. So I think the Chase Down guys were talking about him recently as a potential fit. So we're not the only ones that are in this wavelength. So
yeah, I think there's other guys out there too. I mean, I don't know how interested the Cavs will be in guys like Jay Crowder or DeAndre Jordan, who also
definitely not.
DeAndre Jordan, a NBA champion, but I don't see them having
fits really
too
well
much interest in that.
Fits really well with this Clippers team they're building, if you catch my drift.
They're going to need to have a 4th string on that team.
Yeah. I think they're going to be good, but they're the age group on the team is so funny when you look at the roster. Yeah, so of course I think we should probably throw out the obvious: Tristan Thompson or Kevin Love. I don't think Kevin Love's going to happen. It would be cool. But it sounds like Kevin Love wants to play in like LA or New York. He wants to play for like a really big name franchise. I think he'd be really great for the Knicks. I would just hate to see it.
Yeah, I would agree. I also think that the Cavs need, I think we talked about this in our last episode, but since the championship year, they've always had a member of that championship team on the roster. And I do think, though valuable experience-wise and leadership-wise or mentorship-wise, I do think they could use some time like without one of those guys, because even as we've seen, the league has dramatically changed since 2016. It's no longer a big 3. It's no longer, you have to have these superstars. It's definitely changed to be more, you have good quality players, but you have a cohesive team versus a star-led driven big 3,
right,
like Kyrie, LeBron, and Love.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think is there any other names any other things you can think of there?
Zaire Williams would be a great ad in my mind. 6'9", power forward, only 23 years old.
Definitely a project guy, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
really good though.
The Cavs have the availability to let this be a project role. Mm-hmm. Just because, hey, if any of these guys that we mentioned don't play very much, I don't think any of us are going to be super surprised around that.
Right. I feel like we probably know who the first 10 are at this point.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But with like Alonzo and Larry Nance, they're probably want to kind of keep them rested as much as possible to like where they're playing, but also like staying healthy. I think you could see this kind of coming as well. But yeah, I like Zaire Williams a lot as far as like a young athletic wing, super athletic. Played for Sierra Canyon, played at Stanford. He's a guy played for Brooklyn for a little while. I think he had a really good game against the Cavs, if I remember correctly, last year.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So definitely a good name there as well. I like him a lot. So anyone else you want to throw on before we get to our final segment tonight?
No, I think a final segment is good. I love all these names, and like I said, these are all just if they want to fill that spot with the free agents that are out there. I do think they have another move in mind, but as we outlined in our last episode, that they might be saving that for the trade deadline.
Yeah, I agree. So one quick thing I want to touch on before we get out of here. As we know, we're just getting closer and closer to the season starts. FanDuel has obviously been updating regularly their futures. Cavs are once again favorites to win the East in the betting. It's second to win the title at plus 750 behind OKC's at plus 230. Cavs win the East plus 240. But Skylar, awards are starting to trickle in, and the Cavaliers have not one, not two, but three guys on the books right now to be for the potential NBA MVP.
That's pretty impressive. And to be fair,
None of them
not to diminish it at all, but it is a hampered year because so many guys out with Achilles.
Yeah. It's also going to be really hard to do. So Mitchell, the Cavs favorite at plus 7,500, but he's like way behind odds. So Shea, once again, the favorite at plus 200 to put a kind of context of the space between the two. Evan Mobley plus 20,000. So, and it gets longer. Darius Garland plus 50,000. So if Darius Garland wins the MVP and you put $5 down, you would have to fill out a 1099.
Yeah,
It'd be the best tax form ever.
That would be the best tax form. Just like, yeah, I put a $5 bet to win. What was it? $5,000?
2,500. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
But wanted to make sure we touched on those, and we'll update that as the season goes along. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up here as we kind of are just itching for basketball. I know football's gonna get in everyone's attention right now. Training camp's going. Skylar and I both cover baseball, so we're really busy with a team in a playoff hunt, which is making it pretty fun as well. But of course, the Cavs are always close to our heart, and we're always paying attention. So on behalf of Skylar Webker and Kevin Lynch, who is vacationing with the fam, I'm Tim Daniel. Everyone enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be back next Tuesday. And as always,
go Cavs.